Alix here. Welcome to another episode of Love in Waves. I had a recording ready to go for you like a few days ago, and I literally just could not send it. I don't know why that happens, but sometimes it just does. So I wanted to share a little bit more. I've had so much spinning in my mind, so much I want to share, so much I'm trying to alchemize and bring and distill down into something that's meaty and juicy enough and graspable enough to be of service to you right now. And I guess I still need to stay a little bit in the abstract, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into some practical things as it comes through. I guess I'm just intending that right now out loud. Okay, so what I want to talk about, like obviously there's a lot of stuff going on. We're going into elections. We're going, like the world is at war. There's so much happening. There's a huge bifurcation happening. I mentioned this in the last video, and that we're at this choice point, right? We need to decide. We don't need to. We can consciously decide or not decide to really move forward and press forward to develop the soul, to move into new perspectives, new ways of relating to the world, to people, to everything, in order to have a more peaceful, more harmonious, more abundant and joyful and loving life. Or we continue to just react and respond, mostly react to the creation that's already playing out. Okay, so I guess let's take it this way. One way is creative. It's actually taking ownership, responsibility, being responsible, able to respond with consciousness, being discerning, and choosing very consciously in every moment to go with what soul is calling forth and not what the ego is calling forth. That's one direction that's going to develop your soul and, again, your joy, your bliss, and your peace and your manifestation and all of those things. The other way being reactive, being responding only to what it sees outside as the past, which has already been created from the collective consciousness and from our own consciousness, not being proactive, not being thoughtful, not being prayerful, not being so conscious in the moment as to choose what is the correct choice of the soul versus the choice of the ego that is based in protection, separation, consciousness, manipulation, entanglements. Just give me a subject and, attachments, control, all of these things that move us further and further away from our truth, more and more fragmented, and therefore lower and lower on the scale of consciousness, therefore seeing and having a perspective that is limiting, that is separated, that feels alone, that is lower in all of those emotions, and reinforcing the negative beliefs, the negative programs that are keeping us in that space. So a huge bifurcation going on, right? So I'm going to assume, if you've even listened this far, that you want to go in the direction of soul. You want to go in that direction of elevation. And so the big picture, again, abstract wise, but so where I want you to get this is that we are moving from one truly a harmonic universe of dimensions 1, 2, and 3, which can be looked at as an overlay of many, many different ways of seeing it. In the personal self, it's basically your subconscious, which is the body. It's the emotions, which is the feminine aspect, the emotional body, which is dimension 2, and dimension 3 being the mental body, which is the masculine. And so that D1, 2, 3, those 3 dimensions make up our 3D world. And in the case, of course, of matter, the subconscious also is matter. So pulling this out again that I had shown you before, this is this harmonic universe of D1, 2, and 3, and this overlay of the divine blueprint of this 15, actually there's only 12 here, but it's actually a 15 dimensional time matrix. But this D1, 2, 3 is also our Earth. Okay, this is, we live in a mental universe or Earth here, and we have, of course, the physical aspect here, the densest, slowest moving matter. Now, when we move into the next harmonic universe, so this is harmonic universe 1, HU1. This is harmonic universe number 2. This is called the soul. This is the soul universe, or the soul harmonic. And there's 3 different levels here. This is dimensions 4, 5, and 6. Dimension 4 is the astral. Dimension 5 is the archetypal. And then dimension 6 is the celestial. It's the celestial. So that is the soul matrix here. And the soul matrix is really where we're moving. We're moving, and also this can be overlaid as your chakra system, your energy centers in your body. So this is here, your root chakra. and here is your sacral chakra, and here is your solar plexus chakra. And we are actually moving from living in these three lower chakra energy centers into the higher, into the heart, into the astral realm, which is the time and space realm. We're moving through time and space. And so through time and space, you've got the lower astral and you've got the higher astral. And moving from that into this neutral point is where we really are looking for the harmony of the fifth dimension and above. Okay, so really this is the physical world, and this is where we move into the non-physical world. Everything from the soul level up, or from this harmonic universe up, is non-physical. But it doesn't mean that we can't live in the physical. It just means it's a non-physical realm in terms of being there in our mind, right? The astral realm, we find ourselves in the astral realm when we sleep, right? We're not in this physical realm, we're in a different realm. And likewise, moving upwards. By the way, the level above that is the oversoul level. And then the top three levels that can be embodied within physical form are basically the Christic and so the Christ, the Buddha. This is the higher levels that can be, again, embodied in the physical body. So we are actually able to turn on all of these 12 different dimensions within our chakra system and within which is our energy centers, and of course also within our DNA strands as we continue to build up our 12-strand DNA. So it's all related, okay? And I won't get into the planets, and I mean, everything is related to this. This is the 12. This is the 12, not the 10 tree of life. It's 12, guys. That's a huge thing. Won't go there. So again, and I won't even necessarily pull up the chart of emotions because I don't really need to. What I think I want to say is, in just moving from the solar plexus to the heart, to living in the heart chakra, that's where we're all going right now. And so there's all this frequency coming in from the sun. There's all this light that's coming in and illuminating the darkness, as I mentioned before. All the stuff's coming out of the shadows, from the underbelly, even from underground, really horrific things. And I have a smile on my face only because we're moving forward, even though it's horrific to see and it's hard, and I'm not, it's not even that I'm uncomfortable. It's just, it is what is playing out. It's what needs to happen as we come back into this higher realm, this higher way of living. But it's a huge jump from the solar plexus to the heart, from here to here. And what that means is we're disconnecting from an overactive, overprotective, over-controlling, over-attaching, over everything ego that's been running the mind, and instead sanctifying that ego through the heart. And that's what helps us to become wholehearted and move to the heart as a center of living, as a center of being. And what happens is we're moving from what would be considered third dimension or a subharmonic or a harmonic universe number one into harmonic universe number two. And this is a huge undertaking. It'll probably take a couple hundred years for the majority of people on the planet to get there, but we can get there now. And so many people are awakening to do this, and they're living a much more harmonious life in times that are getting worse and are probably going to get worse. And that bifurcation is getting greater. So I want to really, really encourage you to be mindful, be actually on purpose about taking a look at what's happening in terms of the shift from your 3D living into higher living, into that soul realm, into that harmonic universe number two. And what is the difference here? And so that's what I want to finish this with is, and this is important, so don't get off yet, because I'm going to give you some practical things, but I want to give you this, just this picture, because I think this is really important to recognize, is that the structures that are built in the 3D, in this lower density, more controlling, personal will, right? Service to self, especially the lower chakras are service to self, totally fine in their time. But again, we're moving up into service to others. That's just a way of looking at it, as Ra would say. But what that means is structures, situations, relationships, all of the things that are created in the lower harmonics, in the subharmonics of 1, 2, and 3, in that matrix of the control, and basically everything we've been living until this time that we're moving into now, those things are dropping away. So people that are really on this path are finding that it's much harder to find traditional work or doing something that's out of alignment with their soul in order to just make money and to move forward. They're actually feeling like they're not able to actually progress. And the things that were created or that they're trying to create in the 3D, if you will, old matrix will not, it's not, it either is falling away and not supporting them anymore, or they can no longer perpetuate that. And I certainly found this last year when so much of my life needed to just fall away because it was out of alignment with who I really truly am and my authenticity. And I needed to step further and further into what was actually being called. I'm actually now being lived by soul. I'm doing things that are very uncomfortable if I were to go to my ego mind because I don't feel safe or, things like that. But instead, I'm surrendering into soul, into those higher levels of myself, higher aspects, higher stations of identity, right? We mostly are living in a station of identity in harmonic, in this universe down here, and not in that next level of soul or higher. And we're multidimensional. We can go through this whole thing like in a day, right? We can be living in and learning how to tune in at all these different dimensions once we turn on more and more of our DNA. But we're so phase locked into this lower matrix here that it's a disaster. So these things are falling away. You will notice the conditions of your relationships no longer are going to work for you. Most all relationships in general, whether it's a long-term soulmate relationship or a karmic relationship, whatever type of a relationship with your children, with friends, with coworkers, whoever you're relating to as another person, in this lower section, I'm not saying it's worse, I'm just saying in this physical realm, everything is conditional. Things have to look a certain way. They have to be a certain way. It's like in order to feel happy, right? I mean, ask yourself, what is it I love about that person? It's this condition, it's that condition. Oh, they're this and they're that, and they do these things for me, and I can expect that, and I can control this, and I'm attached to it looking this way. All these things are attachments, and they are not, they are conditional. When you move into the soul level, there is no condition that matters because there's no judgment there. Now, I wouldn't say in the astral so much, that's on your way there, but especially when you come into the higher astral realms. Okay, I will pull this out real quickly because the astral realm, as we're moving into the heart, is going to be in through here, between the fourth dimension here, moving into the fifth. Okay, and so this is where we're in the in-between, where we're moving into optimism and acceptance and understanding and inner wisdom, and then into love. That's the heart chakra. That's moving into the beginning of that soul area. And the conditions don't matter as much. True love has no conditions. It doesn't matter what they look like, what they say, it's not what they say, but obviously you want to hold, your standards and your own self-worth and value to the highest standards, right? You want to be discerning, right? And at the same time, love is love when the conditions don't matter. It doesn't matter if they're dressed up. It doesn't matter if their hair is messy. It doesn't matter if they're not, whatever. You don't love somebody just for those conditions. You love them because you just do, because of who they are, because of the soul essence and the resonance. And you will find that as you move up and up into those higher levels of soul, that you see this in everyone because everyone is an aspect or a fractal of you. And there's some people that have a lot more of that resonance. There's even perhaps you might be so lucky as to meet the one who's the perfect exact resonance as you, same soul frequency, but every level, there's always something to learn. There's something to give. There's something in that exchange that you brought into your experience for you. And when you're working from the level of soul, you aren't trying to control it or push it away or get angry at it or project at it. You're actually instead looking at it with the eyes through wholeheartedness, through the heart, of what's in this that I can add value, or what is in this for me to learn or to experience or to share or to give to, right? So it's a whole different it's a whole new lens. It's a new way of living, and it changes your entire paradigm, and it changes the harmonic universe that you live in. Truly, you're moving from the old earth to the new earth. That's what it is. It's a perspective shift that actually changes the whole thing, because as this bifurcation happens and the collective consciousness splits enough and you have enough people on these two sides, you're going to have this Mandela effect, if you will, but to the full effect of a whole different universe, like a whole different experience of what is collectively agreed upon in this world, in this harmonic universe number 2 versus harmonic universe number 1. totally different. And that's what's happening right now. Gosh, I hope you are like getting this, but I'm trying to tie these things together more and more. But the last thing I want to say is the keys to getting out of the harmonic universe one, the dimensions one, two, three, okay, into the soul levels of the higher, heavens, if you will, moving into the higher self and so on. The keys are to let go of judgment, to let go of expectations, to let go of attachments. Okay, to learn to not judge, to become accepting. I've done videos on these. Please watch my other videos and subscribe. I'm going to keep diving into this because it's where we are, and this is what we need the most to grasp hold of. But to be okay with the moment, to not judge it as good or bad. It's, we can have an experience that's not as comfortable as another experience. Can I allow that experience to be? Do I need to learn something from this experience? Can I bring this to the heart once I've let the emotion go that, and felt through that? Can I bring it to the heart and say, well, is I supposed to learn something there? Is there a belief, a limiting belief that I can shift or let go of that's not serving me anymore, that's keeping me held down and blocked? And these are exactly the things that I do. I work with the emotion code, the body code, and the belief code. Go figure. Body code, that's the subconscious mind. It's atomic in nature. It's in your cells. You are born with that capacity to store everything in your cells. Binary in nature, it speaks. It's either strong or it's weak. So pay attention to the body. When you feel closure in the body, it's because things are out of alignment as source sees it, right? So if you have a thought or you take an action or something comes towards you, whatever it is, if you feel closure, that's your body, that is your subconscious. And a very quick assessment of what's going on from the mind, from the input, the emotion that it brings up, sending these signals, sharing out of alignment, but actually your subconscious speaks immediately. So it's either a yes or a not yes. Binary in nature. That's the body. And then I also work in the emotion code, which is the mental body or the emotional body, which is D2, right? So the subconscious is D1, the emotional body is D2, and D3 is the mental body. So D2 being the emotional body, this is the feminine. Subconscious is neutral, by the way. And then you've got the feminine, which is the emotional body, and the masculine is the mental body. And so the emotional body, this is vibration. This puts out emotions and feelings, and they inform what to do with the thought and how to store it into the neutral body, into the subconscious. But so I won't go too much into that, but the emotion code is all about working through and letting go of emotions that have not been processed, that have been trapped, that are creating distortions within the body or within the fields of the body that can make us ill. And that can also then feed onto belief systems and all kinds of different things. Then when we move into the mental body, this is where I work with the belief code and helping to uncover the beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the negative programs, and the faulty core beliefs and identities that we have from our culture, from being brought up in a family and in just what's ingrained in your first 7 years. And so being able to mine out these different belief systems, this is what we can ask ourselves as well in order to see, is this true for me? Is this real for me? Or is this limiting me in some way? Is this hindering me in some way? And is this the operating system lens from which I am locked into this third dimensional way of living instead of moving forward into soul living, into peace and abundance and joy and bliss and acceptance? This is what we're moving through. And so just fascinating how when you can grasp the personal self in Ds 1, 2, 3 in this dense universe, how locked we are here is completely up to you and possible to unlock from, to move into these lighter and lighter densities and experiences to really just bifurcate, to move towards the new earth, towards heaven on earth, and living and embodying soul so that you can do more meaningful work with less effort, less time, more ease and more abundance and all the things. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing way to live. And it is work to do. And of course, if you need any help with that, I do help with all that clearing within these three dimensions, with the body, the mind, and with the body, the mental body, and with the emotion. So by all means, go so just check in down below to my site, grab 15 minutes if you have any questions, and see if something can work for you. I would absolutely love to help you with that and assist you to moving into these higher realms Otherwise, I've got tons of coaching and training on this site for free or on this YouTube channel. So go back and watch some of those things, and I'll continue to do it. So subscribe, like, and I hope you got value out of this. Please go ahead and comment and do whatever questions, anything that you got going on with it. But I hope that this inspired you today and that you were clear, making a choice for yourself to move into better and higher living for you, less conditions, less control, less manipulations, less entanglements, and really moving into freedom and true love, unconditional service to others, and actually realizing and accepting and just basking in the deliciousness of what's actually soul alignment versus trying to control our lives with the personal small self. We're moving into the higher self. And so that's what I want to invite you into. And thank you so much for your attention today. I know you could tell I'm excited. It's just one of those days, after being in service all day long, it's such a blessing. It feels so good. And it's the opposite of exhausting. It's charging. And it's just amazing. So thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video.